Hi, I'm Charlie, here with more simple tips to help you live the lifestyle you love. If the acts of terror like those that took place in Belgium yesterday have you wrestling with emotions like fear, anxiety, and even all-out anger and outrage, you are so not alone. You know, these cowardly acts, they're not just personal attacks on our freedom in terms of what we do and where we go and how we get there. They're also attacks on our sense of self, on our freedom to think and to envision and be in these positive places and focusing on things that we really want to be focusing on instead of that kind of awful carnage. So if you're struggling with this, I've got 3 steps that you can take right away to help you give yourself a little bit more of a center and a sense of strength in the midst of all this stuff that's going on. Number 1, you've got to be realistic. A realistic perspective. That's the thing that you have to adopt for you. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's all about the way that you are in the world right now, what you're doing with yourself. In other words, in the US, we tend to look at things much too much in terms of black and white. I mean, what is going on politically is absolutely horrific. You know, you're either left or you're right or you're conservative or you're liberal. And, you know, the reality is we see with everything that the answers and the solutions and the best things always come from blending things, not from being this or that. And the same thing goes for this anxiety or this anger that you may be feeling. You need to be realistic about what you're doing and how you are dealing with that. In other words, are you watching all these videos? Are you becoming obsessed with the terrorism, with the violence, with the stuff that is going on out there? If you do that, if you inundate yourself too much with it, then it will encompass your world, and now you are just completely in that space. At the same time, if you think you're going to be like Pollyanna and go, oh, I'm going to be Miss Spirituality, and I'm just going to focus on the flowers and on this and on that, guess what? That's not the answer either. That's the other extreme, and that's called denial. We are built for survival. We take in information all the time. Yes, we need to be really good at making sure that we don't limit what we think we can do based on the limited information we've gotten about what we have done or the past, but at the same time, the information's coming in regardless. So if you put yourself in a place of denial, guess what? You're only going to have more anxiety because you're going to know that stuff is still going down. Your subconscious knows stuff is still going down out there, so you do need to make sure that you give yourself that ability to be realistic and say, look, it's ugly, it's out there. I'm going to look at it just enough to be able to see what do I need to do, what can I do to help keep myself safe and to be able to be in my world in a positive way, but from a place of action, not from a place of denial. And that brings me to step number 2. This is all about awareness. Now, I would say alert, but everybody's saying, oh my gosh, it's about fear. I don't want to live my life in fear. I don't want you to live your life in fear, but you do need to be aware, and that goes back to being realistic. You can't be in denial about the state of the world today, and at the same time, if you are realistic about it and you're aware of it, that's what enables you to still get the most out of what you're doing. But unfortunately, those days of pretending that every time you walk in someplace you have nothing to worry about, that unfortunately is a thing of the past. So instead of taking that position, I want you to take a position of strength by saying, I'm going to be aware, I'm going to be curious, I'm going to be interested in what's going on around me. And the funny thing is, we used to be interested and curious about what was going around ourselves till we had all this technology that distracted us all the time. So if you actually regain that piece so that when you are out and about going from here to there, you're curious, what's going on, what's going on? You know, I say the same thing in the dating realm. Don't sit and study your date looking for red flags and looking for that. That's not the way to get the information you need. The way to get the information you need is to be interested and curious in your date. And then everything just comes to you so easily. And it's the same thing when you're out and about in the environment. And that brings me to step number 3. Put that damn phone down. Now, I know I have been guilty as charged myself where I'm like, but this is so important. First of all, it's not good to be totally wrapped up in a phone 24/7 anyway. But at the same time, when we're talking about your safety, it's actually imperative that you be more aware. And those phones, they take all your attention. They suck you in. You barely know anything that's going on. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have seen that clip with the guy who's going down the alley, you know, and he almost walked into a bear. Hello, a bear. And we've all laughed at that video. But here's the thing. We laugh because he didn't get mauled by the bear. That's why we laugh. Can you imagine if he had stopped and really felt like he needed to finish that sentence, the difference that that could have been something completely different and we would not be laughing about it. And at the same time, it's pointing out something that is so, so important. And I need to tell you this, when you're looking at all the ugly stuff that's going on out there, unfortunately, those people are leveraging your distraction. That's what they want. They want you to be looking at a phone. They want you to be not paying attention, because that's what allows them more easily to carry out what they're doing, set it up, and make it happen. So be alert, put the phone down, be more interested and curious in your environment, and you're gonna get more out of life in general and more out of your experiences in general. If you honestly are struggling with these emotions and you're feeling really nervous, insecure, angry, whatever it is because of the stuff that's going on and you don't want it to consume your world, call me. We can work via Skype, via phone, and I can help you with this, or even in person depending on where you live. In the meantime, if there's something that you want to see, something that you are curious about, just email me and I'll include it in a future video. And join me back here next week for more tips to help you get the best out of life and love.